Today is a big day for Montreal. The second phase of the REM is opening today, and we're going to test it together in this video. Just a quick overview of the project. This is a 67-kilometer automated metro that serves downtown Montreal as well as neighboring cities around the Montreal area. It has a main line and then splits into 3 branches. A first 16-kilometer section of the main line with 5 stations from Gare Centrale downtown to Brossard on the South Shore has been open and operating since summer 2023. And now the second phase of the network opens today. We are getting 33 kilometers of track and 14 new stations. Bad news, however, this second phase was supposed to be the launch of the service on 2 of the 3 branches of the network. However, the branch to Anse-à-Lorme has been delayed to spring 2026, while the airport branch will only open in 2027. So today, only the rest of the main line along with the Deux-Montagnes branch is opening. But before you all complain about the delays, keep in mind that this project only started construction in 2018. And even with COVID and other delays such as finding explosives in the Mont-Royal tunnel, it was still completed pretty fast. Compare this to the Eglinton LRT in Toronto. It started construction in 2011 and it still hasn't opened a single station as of today. So yeah, the REM is doing pretty great compared to this. Today is the open house of the new line before it actually opens officially next Monday. I'll board the REM on the South Shore, the section that has already been opened for 2 years now, and we'll discover the next new stations after that. So after Gare Centrale downtown, the REM goes underground and we get to our first new station about a kilometer away, McGill station. This station connects to the green line of the metro and it is, as the name suggests, connected to the McGill University, which is the main Montreal English language university. And the cool thing with that station and the link with Gare Centrale is that it gives a new way to connect between the orange and the green line of the metro. So for example, if you come by train to Montreal, you arrive at Gare Centrale, which is connected to the orange line of the metro. But let's say your final destination is on the green line, then you can take the REM and do a quick 1-station hop to get to the green line at the McGill station, instead of taking the metro, going all the way to Lionel-Groulx or Berry-UQAM and then to transfer on the green line. So this is very good because the REM allows so many of these new connections and transfers between rapid transit, which is a very important aspect of what makes a rapid transit network good and efficient, and also practical. The next station on the network is Édouard-Montpetit, and to get there, the REM goes through the Mont-Royal tunnel. This tunnel was used by a commuter train line before, but now it is exclusively for the use of the REM, so there are downsides to doing that. It means that we won't be able to use the tunnel anymore to run other services, such as the commuter train lines, the national rail lines, or a potential high-speed train in the future. This is something that was criticized actually because it is the only tunnel to get through the Mont-Royal. The other trains have to go around the Mont-Royal, which takes much longer. But still, this tunnel with the frequency of the REM is a game changer. You can now get from one side of the Mont-Royal to the other in a couple of minutes, and with frequent trains. Because before that, yes, there was a commuter line, but it was much less frequent. So this is very good for the people living on the west side of the Mont-Royal wanting to go downtown, or for the people that need to get from the South Shore or downtown to the west. The Édouard-Montpetit station is next to the Université de Montréal, so it will cut travel times to the students that are coming from the South Shore. Before the REM, you'd have to take the orange line around the Mont-Royal and then transfer to the blue line of the metro. But nowadays, such a commute is much simpler. You can just take the REM on the South Shore at Brossard and it will take you directly to the university. But anyway, what about the station itself? Well, it's very interesting because it's the deepest station in Canada, 70 meters underground. That's about 20 stories deep. So I recommend using the elevators instead of the stairs. There are also elevators linking directly to the blue line of the metro, which is cool. Yeah, because I didn't mention, but of course this station connects also to the blue line of the metro. The next station is the Mont-Royal station in the city of Mont-Royal. I think it's one of the best located stations of the network. It is right in the middle of the city of Mont-Royal. They also built a nice little square in front of the station. My only criticism is that maybe they could have given a better access for buses and also make more of the area pedestrian. There's like 2 one-way roads for cars in front of the station, so maybe they could have cut one of these and make the other one further away from the station into a 2-way street for cars, so that the front of the station could be more pedestrian friendly. But anyway, it's still a very pretty station besides that. Then you have Côte-de-Liesse station, which is also pretty interesting because it connects to the line 15 of the commuter train. Actually, before the REM overtook the Mont-Royal tunnel, line 15 of the commuter train used those tracks to go all the way to downtown. But since this portion of the tracks was closed to give way to the REM, line 15 now had to do a whole detour around the Mont-Royal, which made travel times completely ridiculous for people taking this line. But at least they had the idea to build a new station for the commuter train so that the people could now connect to the REM. And as the REM is very frequent, it's not a problem to leave the commuter train and then transfer to the REM. This will definitely cut travel times from people that take this line to go downtown. Next, we have the Bois-Franc station, which is the last station of the main line of the REM. After that station, it separates into 3 branches. So basically, the line until this station will have the best frequency of the network. After this station, the frequency will basically get split between the branches. So in the future, you'll need to look at the destination of the train you're going to take to see if it's the right branch or not. Also, I think it's worth mentioning that this station in the future could have a connection to the orange line of the metro. And I believe this would be the most obvious metro expansion that should be done next in Montreal. They could make the orange line into a loop, and thus it would add a connection to the REM. That would cut travel time for many people and make so many new trips possible by using rapid transit. Then there are many stations I won't go through, and then there is the final station, which is Deux-Montagnes. We are actually pretty far from Montreal now, but with the REM, the trip to Gare Centrale downtown only takes about 37 minutes, which is pretty fast. This is about 2 times faster than driving there if there's traffic, so this will be a game changer for the region. There's actually been a fair bit of criticism about how people from Deux-Montagnes have not had any rapid transit to Montreal in 5 years now. Yes, because as I explained shortly earlier in this video, the whole line from Deux-Montagnes up to Gare Centrale existed before, but as a commuter train. But this line was closed in 2021 so that it could be upgraded to accommodate the REM. So these past 5 years, people living along the line had to find other ways to get downtown. So people chose either to drive or to take very crowded buses stuck in traffic, which was not ideal and make travel times worse. However, I think it was worth it to wait for the REM because the REM is much more frequent than the old commuter train. And since it's automated, I think it's also faster than the old commuter train. In terms of frequency for the old train, I counted 26 trains per day, and not all of them went all the way to Deux-Montagnes. Meanwhile, the REM will have 54 trains just for the morning peak hours, which is basically a train every 5 minutes. I could not find exact figures, but that probably means there will be around 150 trains per day on that line. Compared to 26 trains per day, it's a big improvement. And if I'm not mistaken, the REM has 3 more stations compared to the old line. And the stations are much better. You can wait inside the heated REM stations instead of the old outdoors train stations. I think this line will also be popular for people that like cycling outside of the urban chaos of Montreal. Places around Deux-Montagnes are pretty great for cycling, so people could just take their bike on the REM on a random Saturday morning and go cycle peacefully in the nearby countryside of Deux-Montagnes. Actually, another personal story. Last year, I did a very long bike ride from Montreal to Ottawa. Yeah, I was just pretty bored that day. And I remember passing next to the Deux-Montagnes station that was under construction. And I thought, wow, I would have enjoyed way more this bike ride if I could have taken the REM all the way to Deux-Montagnes to avoid cycling in the chaos of Montreal. And that's the cool thing with rapid transit. It's not only for people going to work or to classes, but it also can be used for hobbies. You can take it to go see your friends or to go to restaurants or to shopping malls, or even in that case to be closer to nature. But anyway, this network is not yet finished. I might make other videos when the 2 next phases open. We'll see that in a couple of months and years. So anyway, thank you for watching and see you on the next video.